Today we're going to explore the fascinating journey behind one of the biggest and most iconic coffee chains in the world, Starbucks. Whether you're a loyal fan of the pumpkin spice latte or someone who rolls their eyes at the sight of a triple shot oat milk macchiato, there's no denying that Starbucks has revolutionized the way the world drinks coffee. Did you know? Starbucks accounts for up to 57% of the U.S. coffee shop market share. That means nearly 2/3 of all the coffee sold in cafes across America comes from Starbucks. Globally, it's just as influential, with nearly 34,000 stores in 83 countries. From small neighborhood nooks in Tokyo and Paris to massive urban hubs in New York, Starbucks has transformed the humble coffee bean into a global lifestyle. This global dominance didn't happen overnight. Starbucks began in 1971 at Seattle's Pike Place Market. Three friends, Zev Siegel, Jerry Baldwin, and Gordon Boker, opened a small store selling high-quality, freshly roasted beans from Colombia, Ethiopia, and Indonesia. At the time, American coffee culture was dominated by instant brews. But these founders wanted to offer something different, something authentic. The name Starbucks was inspired by the first mate in Moby Dick, a nod to maritime trade, and the logo, a siren, symbolized the allure and mystery of coffee flavors from around the world. In 1983, everything changed when Howard Schultz, then head of marketing, traveled to Italy. He was captivated by the espresso bars, the idea that coffee could be an experience, a daily ritual, a community. He returned with a bold vision to bring that culture to the U.S. by 1987. Schultz had purchased Starbucks for $3.8 million and set it on a course of rapid expansion. By 1992, there were 165 stores. By 1996, over 1,000, with Starbucks entering Japan and Singapore. Today, Starbucks is deeply woven into pop culture, from TV cameos to internet memes, and continues to shape how billions experience coffee. But how exactly does Starbucks create its coffee, from the bean to the brew? The story begins at the very source, the farms. Our first stop is Hacienda, Alsacia in Costa Rica. Starbucks' own coffee farm situated on the fertile slopes of the Poes volcano. This farm is more than a scenic estate. It's a research hub dedicated to sustainable agriculture and innovation. On its 10 hectares of land, Starbucks cultivates over 50,000 coffee seedlings, many of which are specially bred to resist diseases like coffee rust. These seedlings are nurtured under the Costa Rican sun, slowly maturing until they're ready for harvest. When harvest season arrives, workers don't use machines. They pick each coffee cherry by hand. This manual process ensures only the ripest cherries are selected, preserving flavor quality. A single farmer might pick between 100 to 200 pounds of cherries daily. Once picked, the cherries undergo wet processing. First, they're sorted in water tanks. Good cherries sink, damaged ones float. Next, a pulping machine removes the skin and pulp, revealing the bean inside. Rather than discard the cherry skin, known as cascara, Starbucks now repurposes it to create tea, soda, and even beer, reflecting the brand's commitment to sustainability. After pulping, the beans still have a sticky mucilage layer. To remove this, they ferment overnight in tanks, where natural microbes help break it down. In the morning, farmers wash and stir the beans to remove any remaining residue. Environmental stewardship is critical to Starbucks. Wastewater from fermentation is carefully treated to prevent pollution. After washing, beans are dried on patios for 1 to 2 weeks until they reach 11% moisture, the ideal level for transport and storage. Once dried and rested, the beans are ready for the most transformative step, roasting. Roasting is where green beans turn into the rich, aromatic brown coffee you know. Starbucks roasts over 1 million pounds of coffee daily. The process is overseen. by 7 master roasters who manage temperature and time with precision. Roasting temperatures range from 356 degrees Fahrenheit to 482 degrees Fahrenheit, 180 degrees Celsius to 250 degrees Celsius, with roast profiles ranging from light to dark. Light roasts preserve citrusy, fruity notes. Medium roasts balance acidity and sweetness. Dark roasts bring bold, smoky flavors. After roasting, the beans undergo a process called cupping, a sensory evaluation where roasters slurp and analyze flavors, aromas, and mouthfeel. Through tasting, they perfect blends by combining beans in exact ratios, perhaps 50% Colombia, 30% Ethiopia, 20% Sumatra, to create the signature Starbucks flavor. The beans then move to quality control. At dry milling facilities, about 20 women manually inspect and remove defective beans. The remaining high-quality beans are ground to different levels, from coarse French press grind to fine espresso grind, and packaged using nitrogen flushing to preserve freshness. These bags are then shipped to Starbucks stores around the world. A flavor. Of course, coffee is only one part of the drink. For milk-based beverages like lattes and cappuccinos, Starbucks sources milk from carefully vetted dairy farms across the US, Europe, and New Zealand. These farms adhere to high standards of animal welfare and avoid synthetic growth hormones. Like RBST, cows graze freely, and milk is harvested fresh every day. Once collected, milk is chilled to 4 degrees Celsius, 39 degrees Fahrenheit, immediately to maintain freshness. It's transported in refrigerated trucks to processing plants, where it undergoes ultra-high temperature (UHT) pasteurization at up to 302 degrees Fahrenheit, 150 degrees Celsius, for just a few seconds. This process kills bacteria while preserving nutrients and flavor. Next, milk is homogenized to evenly distribute fat, preventing separation. Then, it's packaged into sterile cartons, quality checked under inspection lights, and sent via cold chain. Logistics to Starbucks stores. When it arrives, baristas store it immediately in refrigerators. When you order a latte, milk is poured into a stainless steel pitcher, then steamed to 65 degrees Celsius, 149 degrees Fahrenheit. So the next time you sip your favorite Starbucks drink, think beyond the cup. Think of the volcanic soils of Costa Rica, the hands that picked your beans, the master roaster who developed the flavor, the engineers who built the machines, and the dairy farmers who supplied the milk. In the United States, Mars is more than just a name. It's a confectionery empire. With over $22 billion in annual revenue and a product line that reaches millions of homes around the globe, Mars has shaped the way we experience chocolate. And among its many sweet innovations, one bar stands out for its rich legacy and unmistakable flavor: the Mars bar. From its soft nougat and rich caramel to its silky milk chocolate coating, the Mars bar is a treat that has stood the test of time. But have you ever wondered how this classic is actually made? Let's rewind the clock to 1932, during the era of jazz, speakeasies, and a golden age of candy innovation. It was then that Forrest Mars Sr., the son of Frank Mars, the founder of the Mars Company, decided to branch out. Family businesses are often complicated, and the Mars clan was no exception. Forrest and Frank didn't always get along, but they did share one unshakable belief: people would always crave chocolate. While in Europe, Forrest noticed that the British Milky Way, unlike its American counterpart, was less sweet and more nougat-focused. Inspired, he set out to create something new. That idea took shape in the form of the Mars bar, a blend of nougat, caramel, and milk chocolate that debuted not in the US, but in Slough, England. Yes, Slough, better known now as the setting of the original The Office, was once the unlikely birthplace of one of the world's most beloved chocolate bars. The Mars bar was a near-instant success in the UK, while Americans continued their love affair with the sweeter, creamier Milky Way. If this sounds like a transatlantic sibling rivalry, that's because it was, but instead of fists, they fought. Now let's step into the factory to see how this iconic treat is made. Crafting a Mars bar is not unlike conducting a symphony. At the heart of every bar are three fundamental layers: nougat, caramel, and milk chocolate. Each is made from high-quality, globally sourced ingredients. It all starts with the nougat, which begins with pasteurized egg whites whipped into a fluffy foam. These are stabilized with a sugar syrup made from glucose and sucrose. The glucose prevents crystallization, while the sucrose adds sweetness. Malted milk powder is then added to give a roasted, creamy profile, and real vanilla extract adds aromatic warmth. This nougat mixture, now resembling a dense marshmallow mousse, is piped onto conveyor belts and spread evenly. Is then sent through a cooling tunnel to set chilled just enough to maintain its airy texture without becoming brittle. Meanwhile, in a separate section of the factory, the caramel is being created. Granulated sugar is melted in massive, jacketed kettles that use double-wall construction to ensure even heating. The sugar is stirred constantly by mechanical paddles until it transforms into a golden syrup. Butter is then added to enrich the texture, followed by cream, which creates the caramel's soft chewiness. Timing is critical. If the cream is added at the wrong temperature, the mixture could separate. Once the perfect consistency is achieved, a pinch of salt is added to balance the sweetness. The hot caramel is piped onto the cooled nougat and smoothed into a thick layer using automated rollers. The layered slab then passes through a secondary cooling tunnel, bonding the nougat and caramel together into one cohesive mass. Now it's time to slice the slab into individual bars. This is handled by precision machinery with laser-guided guillotine blades that can slice hundreds of bars per minute. From here, the bars enter the enrobing station where they take a delicious dive through a curtain of melted chocolate. This chocolate, a blend of cocoa solids, cocoa butter, milk powder, and sugar, is tempered to perfection. The bars glide beneath the chocolate waterfall. They are fully coated, and any excess chocolate drips off into a reservoir for reuse. A gentle vibration removes air bubbles and smooths the surface. Signature wave patterns are added on top using custom rollers, and the freshly coated bars enter a cooling tunnel that solidifies the chocolate without triggering bloom. The unsightly white haze caused by unstable cocoa butter. Every Mars bar then undergoes a series of rigorous quality control checks. Automated vision systems inspect for uniformity, while trained experts conduct random taste tests and physical evaluations. After passing inspection, the bars move to the packaging line. High-speed wrapping machines enclose each one in its signature wrapper, using heat-sealing technology to keep it airtight. This protects the bar from moisture, oxygen, and contamination, extending its shelf life. Once wrapped, bars are boxed and labeled for distribution using AI-enhanced logistics systems that track and direct shipments globally. From a factory floor in England or Illinois, your Mars bar might travel thousands of miles to land in your local store or your backpack. What makes the Mars bar so enduring isn't just its taste, but its consistent quality, clever marketing, and ability to innovate without losing its core identity. In the UK, over 40% of chocolate consumers reported enjoying a Mars bar in the past year. And so next time you take a bite, remember, you're not just tasting caramel and chocolate. You're experiencing nearly a century of sweet history delivered with precision, passion, and just the right amount of sugar.
If you enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates. Share your thoughts in the comment section down below.